All right, traders. Hey, good morning. Welcome on back here to close things out for this week and for this whole month. Great to have all of us though here. Friday, February 27th. Great to see Tony, Farzad, Grant, Bill, Leda, Uday. I saw Barbara just before a mocktailed earlier, Kevin, John. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to start things off here real quick here, folks. Buon compleanno e tanti auguri to my friend Andrea. I'll tell you what, he's talking to Leda in the general discussion tab of our live trading room. One of our longtime students, it is his birthday on, well, he's a leap day baby. How about that? The 29th. So I want to give him a big shout out, albeit this year, no leap day. He's going to be celebrating this weekend, of course. Happy birthday, Andrea. We love you here, wishing you well. And with that, I'll tell you what, hopefully we make you a boatload of money today because we have a pretty active market altogether. Let me just take this thing out the way here. EOS took a huge hit yesterday. This was a great short, and then it became a great bounce, but it didn't end up continuing to make that push, right? With lower highs, likely to continue to get lower lows over time here. So, this was one stock that we actually did pretty well on as a day trade yesterday. But, the big news that came out, we have a lot of news actually. In fact, we have Dell earnings that popped overnight. But the big one with Netflix. So there was some more news that came out with the whole debacle saga between Paramount, Warner Brothers, and Netflix essentially. So let me just see if I can get the quick headline here for you. Netflix declines to raise their offer for Warner Brothers Discovery. It says the deal is no longer financially attractive. So we're declining to match Paramount Skydance bid. Well, here's the thing, right? This could have been great for Netflix if they ended up matching, but when they are basically spending a boatload of money on something else, it's typically going to lead to a drop off just in the stock price, where one company purchases another company out. They're spending typically a lot of capital. So, hey, once they decline to match, it's like, okay, they're not spending that money at least. It actually led to a nice pop. Great reaction. I know Fausto's killing it on this trade. Let me ask, our students like Andrea, Joyce, Pat, Uday, all of us here right now, anyone in on this stock right here, the Netflix? And if you're not in on Netflix, remember, you got the ETF for that, at least NFLU. I'm sure there's like another Netflix ETF there also. But listen, it's not just the stock or the option. You can also do the, I'm sorry, it's not the stock or the ETF. You could also do the option. If you're experienced with knowing what to look for in an options trade, if you're just doing simple calls or whatever it is, we just tell students here at CTU, like newer traders, that you have to learn how to trade the stock first. It's the underlying movement of the stock that affects that premium on the put or call you're doing. But for students like Farzad and Tim and Roseanne and Alex, a lot of us here that discuss options that have traded them with great success already, you know what you're doing. So, there's a lot of ways that you can get your hands on like Netflix trades here for the market open. Needless to be said, I'm just going to put this on our list to begin. NFLX, NFLU, at least for right now, those two in the meantime. Now, how about the others like P-Sky? How's that doing? That actually had a little pop in the morning yesterday. Nice little day trade yesterday in the morning, but it actually did pop overnight. It is pulling back right now as I'm yapping here. So, I'm not going to be as focused on this if the direction is not there. And then Warner Brothers Discovery, well, they had a bit of a drop off. Not as much to those two trades, though. It's more the Netflix that's like the more volatile, heavily traded stock, at least. Now, otherwise, just as day trades yesterday, doesn't look great now, but the IONQ was looking good earlier yesterday morning. Popped off of earnings. So going into the open, buyers were winning the battle, led to a pretty good push up at first. Nice set of higher lows, higher high later on, right? Just classic trend and continuation off of the earnings that we had. RXT, just another stock that we traded yesterday. We've had our hands on this though for a little bit back from the last week and a half. Thing ended up making a couple pops. The one thing I want to mention with this trade is that, kind of like my IBRX stock that we're killing it on also, this is not some low float stock, actually. This is like, I think 200, 300 million shares in the float. You just kind of like correlate cheap stock on downtrend. It's like, oh, that must be a low float stock. That's kind of like the rule of thumb at first, but take a look, take a check. And when you have good liquidity on the order book, that makes you think, all right, well, maybe it actually has a large gas tank. It just kind of stinks as a company. but had a big pop yesterday. Today it's down. What goes up does come back down. So not as like jumpy as focused to put that on our list just yet. We can come back to it. I have no problem like throughout the morning if it pops. We'll come back to it, revisit if we need to. Novavax, NVAX. I'll tell you what, the vaccine companies, Moderna was up like 50% to begin the calendar year. And then Novavax, NVAX, pretty similar. I mean, basically like that, almost double. But yesterday, it ended up making that better push. Popped up after the market opened up. Just another good day trade that we caught here. Plenty of others. I can keep going down the list, guys, right? I mean, AEHL, another cheap stock. This one, not high float, very low float. We know what happens to those, cheap and dropping off, but with like 1 million, 2 million shares in the float, it's just waiting to have a balloon popped. So with that, it did go up beautifully, but it failed to hold support, and that was it. That was a wrap. Again, last couple others here. We had a whole list here yesterday. B-Fly popped up in the morning, actually a little move in the afternoon. T-Doc, another little pop that we caught there also. We did do well, like I mentioned, on the EOS trade. Man, they really messed up their earnings, huh? I mean, normally off of, well, actually, I'll tell you what. I was about to say something here, Brian, Leda, Grant, but actually, we have our classes to go through all of this coming up this morning, don't we? If you're a phase 2 student, keep in mind, little housekeeping note, we have our class here this morning, earnings expectations, literally going to be talking about earnings and expected moves, what to look for ultimately. Long story short, as we brought up, it was a good short yesterday. It was a good long afterwards, but sellers are still winning this battle. I could put this on our watch list even just once again as a short, see if this can go down to $6 and test that iceberg there. So not a bad stock to look at least. And then finally, what was the Sable Offshore? This company's been beat up for a little while, scrutinized going into the end of last year. That was kind of it. I guess it was kind of a news blip that came out and dropped, popped. But we're going to focus on some other trades here, folks, leading into the market open all together across the gainers and losers side right now. And also, quick heads up, Grant, Leda, Michael, we got about 109 of us joining us right now live. Great to see Ava testing our room out. We got Chris, we got Charlene, we got Joe, we got Mario, we got Nabil, we got Rebecca. So keep in mind, actually at noon Eastern today, even if you're not a student, you have access to this. Fausto is doing an exclusive workshop, actually. Well, not on this platform, mind you, but actually on Moomoo. So that will be coming up at noon Eastern time today. Stay tuned for that. We're going to post the link inside our chat board for all of our members here in just a moment. But mind you, at least what we're going to do here is just build up our watch list going into the open. And Fausto will show you how to do that in our exclusive Moomoo workshop later on today. All right, so from top to bottom we go. A lot of the ETFs, honestly, here to begin. I forgot to do something here pretty quick. The float, let's just do something here to block out all those ETFs. There we go. Perfect. All right, CDIO is a stock also, I think, from yesterday. A little pop up, drop back down. BATL, same to be said there. All right, XWEL, XWEL. This one had a little pop yesterday morning also, but a better move now, it seems. So going into the open, don't mind putting this on our list. Just cheap stock, probably on good spread, but the float's pretty low. So it's probably going to be one of those like pump and dump type of moves. Looking at the daily chart, kind of speaks for itself, right? A couple different historical levels I'd plotted just going into the open, but outside of that, I mean, lower highs across the board. So eventually music's going to stop. You got to find your chair, right? Little musical chairs there. All right, what else here? AAOI, this also has been on a tear, I think from earlier this week. Yeah, we had called this out, not just earlier this week, mind you. I mean, just last year mostly, but just continuing to push up has been a phenomenal swing trade. I could put this on our list. Just I know the liquidity is going to be very thin going into the open. It's more expensive anyway, but see if there's something more within our price range, better volume. Mara pushed up overnight. They had earnings. I'll tell you, I say this quite often. These Bitcoin mining stocks, whether it be Mara or Riot or CleanSpark, whenever they have their day in the sun. They're cute little day trades, but these are not great swing trades by any stretch of the imagination. Maybe they will be over time. Like maybe Riot could be if it could eventually like flip resistance into a support around like 19-ish, 20-ish. Possible. I mean, look at the other mining stocks like Wolf. Not all of them are horrible, but they have to prove themselves to you. I mean, just look at Iron back in the last year. I know that was affiliated with the data centers and the nuclear, and they were kind of dipping their hand to a few different things. But point being, I mean, Mara's up today. I mean, I could put it on our watch list for the open this morning. Just, I'm not a big fan of these stocks as far as a swing trade just yet. High or low, we'll see if it could pop. I'll put it on our list here for the open. Indo, it's funny, anytime the markets are crashing bad, I've seen like INDO make a little move up. I've seen Houston Energy, HUSA, which I believe they're probably delisted now since I see this here, incorrect symbol. Either a switching of the ticker or they got delisted, either way. Either way, though, just point being is that markets are falling off today, right? Saw a little pullback today. It didn't surprise me to see INDO move up yesterday into the afternoon, moving up a little bit more this morning. So, hey, if the markets fall off, perhaps this could be at least a trade on the way up. Not everything's going to drop. Dell had great earnings. We talked about that. I mean, a little expensive, but outside of that has been just very strong. Congrats to anyone that held on from yesterday or jumped in before the earnings. All right, now I'll tell you what, I'm going to hop over to the loser side here. I didn't really find as much on the gainers list there just yet. Duolingo. I feel bad because AI is taking over, right? AI is going to take over everyone's jobs, and it's true. It's like a sad reality. But when it comes to like software, hey, like you could just jump on AI and code anything at this point. Literally, you could just say like, code me an indicator. Hey, code me this app. Code me this program. So when it comes to like translation from one language to another, well, for wishing Andrea happy birthday earlier, I used AI, but outside of that, at least, you don't need Duolingo anymore. You could just kind of ask AI, like, translate this for me, or teach me Spanish, teach me Italian. I'll do it. So this has been getting crushed since like middle of last year, broke support. It's been bad for a while. And now they had earnings and they probably like slashed all guidance, whatever the report came out. Horrid. So it's a short. It's going to go on our list as a short. I would not look for any sort of contrarian bounce on this trade. There is no historical support in your sight. Broke below like 117 here or 113. And, your next real support's not really until like kind of 70-ish, 63-ish. Might look at this, but I think it's already below that right now. So, yeah, going into the open, please follow the trend. Trend is your friend, folks. You're going to take a lot more meat off the bone if you're following the trend. And if you're vegan, well, I still want you to follow the trend. But either way, though, going into some other trades, Flute, F-L-U-T, that's actually FanDuel, sports gambling, app. Now, the difference between FanDuel, at least, and like Duolingo is that, translating languages is not something that's regulated state to state. So with a lot of these, states in the U.S., they require regulation, approval. So with FanDuel, DraftKings, not every sports gambling app is getting approved out there. Like just the largest ones have been, right? MGM, Caesars. That's actually a separate story that happened yesterday. The point being is that like Flute's been getting crushed. But they're still, in my opinion, like a very reputable name in the sports betting industry. And it's not as if AI has necessarily taken this one over. Maybe they just have poor financials the last year or so. But either way, hey, going into the open, this also doesn't have as much support really until like 103-ish. If not that, then like 95. So this could be a good short going into the open also. We got a lot of expensive stocks already on our list, don't we? We got Duolingo, we got Netflix already. That's two. Don't need to like build up more. So, it could be a thought if you're one that's going to be looking at the sports gambling companies, if you like a more expensive stock, that could be more up your alley. This is going to 6. EOS is on our watch list already as a short. Follow the trend, right? SMR. This also has been getting obliterated lately, so this could be a good short. It does have a little support right around 11-ish, 11-ish, 1150. So perhaps it could build a little support there, maybe. But yeah, I don't mind adding it. Just a short to put on our list for the open. What else we got here, folks? Silver pushed up earlier today too. That wasn't up like 5%, but we did talk about that before the morning meeting started here. So I don't mind just adding that, just going into the open SLV. All right. So Michael, Margaret, Grant, birthday guy, Andrea, Leda, all of us here in chat right now. Let me know if there's anything else looking good from your side of things before we finish up. Also, again, keep in mind, we got class today for our students. If you're a silver student or above, we have our phase 2 stock course for you. And for all of us collectively, we have our Moo workshop here today coming on up at noon Eastern time. So looking forward to showing that to our students. I love Moo platform, albeit it's not shown on this screen this morning. Just the platform itself is pretty intuitive. It's pretty simple, in fact, as well. Nice charts, nice order book. So it's going to be something we're going to be pretty much showing a lot more going forward. Inside our live trading room, right? All right, just check out Benzinga here real quick. Oh, that's right. Well, with the market dropping off, perhaps you could kind of lean into like a UVIX ETF here. So I don't mind just putting that on our watch list also. That's just a quick one we could add. I mean, there's other inverse ETFs also, but we'll call those out accordingly as the market drops off more. Lewis, to attend the workshop, no, you do not need to open up a Moo account to attend, but that's definitely something Fausto is going to talk about just coming up later on in the workshop, at least nearing the end of it. So nice little offer for all of our students exclusively here inside our trading room. All right, so stay tuned for that at least. All right, folks, hey, we're going to get up, gear up going into the market open, get ready at least. So you're going to get Fausto on the mic with myself here going into the open. He was just jumping on a quick call, so I had to get the hot tag to do this meeting at least for him. But outside of that, again, we're going to have a full hour of audio commentary coming on up. We got class, we got workshop today, a lot of education for a Friday. Also, it's the end of the pay period too. So, keep in mind, if there's really nothing out there that meets your eye, and if you did pretty well this month on a short month, I mean, not just 28 days, but you had the holiday too, right? So it's a short month. If you did well and nothing else is meeting the eye, don't be, the gambler out there. Lock it up for the weekend. Start the weekend early. Start the month of March early, perhaps as well. But again, folks, we'll be back on social media: Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, etc., popping up at 2:30 Eastern later on today. Quick shout out to my guy Bill William there. Wishing you well, my friend. All right, but with that in mind, though, folks, hey, we'll be back later on social, and